Hi everyone, I'm Sandy and today I'm here for Tag Tuesday, and what I thought I would try and do is tackle a few of the alphabet tags that I've been tagged in recently. If you're not familiar with the alphabet tags, they are created by Jim over at Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff, and they are wonderful, wonderful tags, and he has tagged me in two of them, and then I was tagged in a third one by Shelly Swearingen, and so I'm going to try being the key word here to do all three in a single video. We'll see how it goes. I will leave links in the description to both Jim's videos and to Shelly's video. So if you want to go and check them out, they are absolutely wonderful tags and I really enjoy doing them. So the first one is the Q tag, which is the one I was tagged by Shelly. So for this one, we're going to go ahead and jump in. And the first one is Q is for quick. What was a quick read for you? A book that you read in 1 or 2 sittings. For this one, I'm actually going to select The Ascent of Rumdoodle by W.E. Bowman. So this one, if you look at it, it's only 168 pages long and the font in it is fairly large. And so this one is an absolute hilarious spoof on a mountaineering group who decides to try and conquer the 40,500-foot peak that is known as Rumdoodle, and they are very, very incompetent climbers. Very incompetent group with lots of misfortune and lots of mishaps, and they have a navigator who is very, very challenged, which certainly does not help you try and get to the top of a peak. The book, though, is such an easy read and such a fun and fast read. I did read it in about a couple of hours, I believe. But again, it's only about 168 pages, and it is just an easy read. And there's a whole bunch of illustrations in this one. But if you're looking for a fun spoof, a mountaineering spoof, I would definitely recommend this book, The Ascent of Rumdoodle. So for the quick one, Q is for question. You can ask me a question in the comments and below, and I answer every comment. I definitely try and answer every comment. If I haven't answered your comment, it means YouTube has probably deleted it. You can ask me a question. We'll see if I see what the question is, and maybe I'll answer it. I usually try to, though. What is your favorite question word? When is my favorite question word? When do I need to be there? When does this need to be done? I hate being late. It's one of my biggest pet peeves is being late. You could ask my husband because I drive him crazy trying to make sure he gets out the door on time or out the door on the schedule that I think we need to be in order to be there on time. Followed closely by what? What do I need to do? What needs to happen here? Those are two of my favorite question words. Q is for quantity and quality. Would you rather read 10 okay books in a month or one very good book? And one book in a month is so few for me. I'd love all the books I read to have a very high quality, but I guess I'd have to go for one very good book. It better be a big book though, so I can spend some time with it. Q is for queer. Do you have a favorite queer author? I'm going to say I actually don't know because I don't look at that or haven't been looking at that. So I couldn't tell you one way or the other right now. So I'd have to go and investigate. And yeah, but I honestly just don't know. Q is for quiet. Do you need quiet to read? I don't need quiet, but what I can't have is dialogue. So I can't really watch a movie. I can't have BookTube playing in the background while reading. Something about the voices distracts me from reading. I can have music. I can listen to songs while reading, but I definitely cannot watch anything that has dialogue. Q is for Quran. Do you read the Quran? No, I've never read the Quran. Q is for quack. Why does Pei have so many ducks in his videos? I have no idea, but I love them. Q is for Queensland, Qatar, Quito, Quebec. Have you ever read a book from any of these places or anywhere beginning with Q? I don't know. I did try and research a little bit for this one, and what I found is not one that I've read, but one that I have sitting on my shelf, which is actually Still Life by Louise Penny. This is the Inspector Gamache I think that's how you say his name, series, and I have wanted to read this one for a very long time. Fun fact, I took this camping last year and didn't read it. But this is a series I've really wanted to pick up for a long time and just haven't, and it is set in Montreal. Q is for Quaker. Has there been a Quaker protagonist or character in any of your reading? I don't know as well on this one. I did go look up a list, and what I saw on the Goodreads list is that one of the ones that came up was Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe. I read that a number of years ago. I don't remember the Quaker component of it. If it did have one, it says it does, but that's the only one that I could find. Q is for quote. Can you share some quotes about reading? So the one quote that has always stuck with me ever since I first read it is Haruki Murakami's, and it is, if you only read what everyone else is reading, you can only think what everyone else is thinking. And that has always stuck with me. I read such a wide variety of books that, yeah, I think I love having a lot of different perspectives. Q is for quill. Have you had any writings published? Nope, not a writer. Not even a technical writer. I've had nothing published. Q is for quiz, question, and quilp. Quilp featured in which Dickens novel? I am hugely embarrassed by this because I watched someone else's, I think it might have been Kit's World video, where they answered this question. And I even commented, oh great, now I'll have the answer for when I do my quiz. I don't remember. Yeah, I know it's one I haven't read yet. That's for sure. But anyway, that was the Q tag. So for the R tag, R is for reading. Why do you love reading? I don't know why. It's like my favorite form of entertainment. I have a very visual picture that sometimes runs in my head. I always almost feel like I put myself into the shoes of the protagonist. And it's just been such an entertaining one for me. I don't have a better answer than that. R is for Russia. Who is your favorite Russian writer? So I haven't read a lot of Russian writers extensively. I have read some Tolstoy and Anna Karenina. I have read some Solzhenitsyn, but I don't feel like I've read enough to be able to say, yeah, this is my favorite. This is my favorite. And I do have some Dostoevsky coming up and another Tolstoy coming up in 2022. So maybe that will give me a better idea of maybe which one will be my favorite. R is for romance. What is your favorite romantic novel? Mine is The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. I think that's how you say her last name. I'll put up a book cover up here for you. I read this probably, I want to say 20 years ago now. If it came out then, I'll have to double check that. I read it a number of years ago, and it's one of those books that has always stuck with me and I truly, really enjoyed. It's one of the first books I actually recommended to people. I recommended it to my grandmother. I recommended it to quite a few people. I think I even sent it to a couple of people, that it was one of my favorite books just because of the love story between Henry and Claire, and just, I think it was Claire. Was it Claire? Now I'm gonna question whether that was really the name of her. It was definitely Henry. But their love story of the two main characters I just really liked, and I thought it was really a clever story how they introduced the characters to each other, and so it has always stuck with me, The Time Traveler's Wife. R is for what? Renoir. Do you have a favorite Renoir painting? No, not that I can name. I don't even can name one that I've even seen. So we're going to go with no. R is for Regency. Do you have a favorite book written in the Regency period, which is 1811 to 1820, other than by Jane Austen? I had to look up authors in this time period that would maybe qualify for this, and the one that immediately struck me was Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, which was 1818. So that would be my favorite book that I found in my limited amount of research that I did. R is for Roman à clef. Tell us about a Roman à clef you like. So I had to look up what this meant. Roman à clef is a novel in which real people or events appear with invented names. And so looking up kind of examples of this, the one that immediately struck me was A Devil Named Prada by Laura Wisberger. So this follows an intern at a fashion magazine working for a tyrannical editor, and it was apparently loosely based off of Anna Wintour and the intern when she was working for Vogue. So yeah, that one is my favorite one, and I really like the movie because Meryl Streep is fantastic in it. R is for Rustavelli, the most revered Georgian writer. Have you heard of him? No, sadly I have not. This last prompt is a little different. Imagine you were isolated in a log cabin with no internet and no Kindle. In the cabin, there are books by the following writers, beginning with R. Racine, Kathy Reichs, Anne Rice, Ian Rankin, Ruth Rendell, Arundhati Roy, J.K. Rowling, and Salman Rushdie. Whose books would you read first and whose would you leave to last? Also, you can also rank the authors if you so wish by your personal preference. I actually messaged him or put a comment on his like, well, how long am I in this cabin? Because that might change my order. And then he said I could rank them. But I haven't read anything by Racine or Reichs. I have read Anne Rice, J.K. Rowling, and Arundhati Roy. I hate saying that name because I know I'm saying it wrong. I would probably pick up Ruth Rendell, just because looking at her books that I glanced at would look like ones I would probably be interested in. I would save something like Anne Rice till the end because I've read a number of her novels. I would only pick up maybe one Rushdie because his writing's really hard. So yeah, I think I would pick up something like Ruth Rendell first, and along those lines, and then I'd have to investigate, or probably would read the backs of the covers and pick ones that I really liked. But Salman Rushdie would be a hard one to do, like read all of the books in a row. So but yeah, that's gonna be my answer. And that is the end of the R tag. So we're gonna jump right into the S tag. Wah! Okay, S is for science fiction. Which science fiction author have you read the most books by? I don't read a lot of science fiction, so Andy Weir has written my favorite one, which is The Martian, but beyond that, I don't have a lot of them. S is for Star Trek. Which is your favorite Star Trek series? I have only watched the original series, and that was because my dad made me watch it when I was young, because he would want to watch it and he had control over the TV. So I watched a lot more of the first series than I ever care to admit. I do know I like Jean-Luc Picard because he's played by Patrick Stewart, who I think is wonderful. And then my favorite Star Trek movie is actually I believe it's called Undiscovered Country is one, and then the one with Khan in it is the second. But those would be the only Star Trek I really know. S is for school story. What is your favorite book with a school setting? I really did enjoy the Harry Potter series. As far as a school setting, I thought it was really fun. Ones that I have read fairly recently have been Hush Hush, which is about guardian angels and is set in a school setting. I did read like The Lightning Thief by Percy Jackson and The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, and that one was okay. It tends to not be my go-to kind of area. S is for satire. Which is your favorite satirical novel? I have read Animal Farm and Catch-22, which were on Jim's list. I'm not sure if I've read any others really that would qualify for this one, so I would have to say Catch-22 because it's the only one that I can think of right now. The log cabin prompt. You are in a log cabin with no internet and no Kindle. In the cabin are 4 books. Scarlet Sins by Dane Cobain, The Sword of Kagan by M.L. Wang, The Accidental by Ali Smith, and City by Clifford D. Simak. Which book do you start reading? Which book will you give as a gift to another booktuber, and which booktuber? And it's a little cold in the cabin. Which book would you burn in the hearth for warmth? And then which would you leave behind for the next visitor? Okay, so the one I would pick up is because it's on my 1001 book list, which is The Accidental by Ali Smith. And so I really want to read that one. The book that I would read it and then leave it is Scarlet Sins by Dane Cobain. He is a fellow booktuber, and so I really want to make sure more people get the ability to read his books. I haven't read that one yet, though. And then I said City by Clifford Simak, which is a story of legends and myths and campfire stories told by dogs about the end of human civilization. And there were 2 booktubers that immediately came to mind for this one. The first one is David Wiley, and the second one is Michael Cavon. I think both of them would like it. So unfortunately, the one that would end up being burned is The Sword of Kagan by M.L. Wang, and I don't read that genre, so that makes a lot of sense for me. Though I have a hard time burning a book. Can I burn a chair instead? I think I would burn a chair over the book, but yeah. S is for Steinbeck. What is your favorite Steinbeck novel? It is East of Eden. I have read several Steinbecks. I've read Grapes of Wrath. I've read Cannery Row. Just many of Steinbeck's books, but East of Eden was one that has always stuck with me. It is a chunker of a book, but definitely worth it. S is for Sartre. Is Sartre worth reading? I don't know. I haven't read it. S is for Shakespeare. What is your favorite Shakespeare play? What was the last Shakespeare play you saw performed at the theaters? So as far as ones that I have read, the ones I've read recently were Romeo and Juliet and The Tempest, and I absolutely enjoyed both of those. I haven't read enough to say which one would be my absolute favorite. The last one that I saw performed was actually in a ballet and not in a play, and that was A Midsummer Night's Dream, and it was fantastic. So good. I would absolutely, I should read that one. But I haven't read it yet. S is for Stalin. Stalin was a monster, but does he have any redeeming qualities? I don't know. I don't know enough about Stalin. I'd have to ask my husband because he knows quite a bit more. S is for short story. What is your preferred length of fictional reading material? I would say that books about this length, about this size, they're long enough that you get the story, but not so long that you feel like you're reading it forever. But around the 300 page mark, I really like this. Especially if I'm doing a buddy read with someone, 300 pages is almost ideal. S is for subscribers. Not a prompt, just a thank you. I've just passed the 500 subscriber mark. So congratulations, Jim, on passing 500 subscribers. Very well deserved. And I hope you continue to grow. And, I should tag people. Who am I going to tag? For the Q tag, I'm going to tag Elizabeth over at Bookins and Books because their channel has a Q in it. I'm not drawing today, just because I want to tag people whose letters in their channels actually start with the letters of the tag. So for the R tag, I'm gonna tag Alicia Reads and Rambles, Amanda from the Reading and Writing Life, and I believe Rachel is Reading, because I don't think Jim tagged her. And then for the S tag, I will tag Hugo at Scientist Reading World, tag Jack over at Spread Book Joy. And that will end my tags for today. Hopefully I didn't go through these too quickly. I did want to try and get all 3 of the alphabet done at once, or alphabet tags done at once that I was tagged in. And I hope you are having a lovely, lovely week. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, thanks, bye.